Next thing we'll work on is this modernist, surreal, landscapey type of little illustration project. And this time we're going to apply the extrude 3D type to a series of shapes and position them. I've drawn a few shapes for us already. Let's have a look at those. They're over in our untitled project over here. So just some simple geometric shapes. I just used the pen tool and the rectangle tool and the ellipse tool to create these pretty basic shapes. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do that on your own. And now I'm going to apply the 3D effect to them, and I'm going to add a little bit of texture through the shapes. I'm going to use a material to do that. So let's start by working through each of them and turning them into 3D objects. So we'll go to the 3D materials panel and to the extrude option, and I'm going to extrude it but drop the depth down to maybe 30. Go OK. Just to start with, we'll pop everything to the front, and we might just spin it around minus 30 on the y-axis. Just to get started, we'll look at the objects front on. Now, let's click over we'll turn on the ray trace, and we'll click over to materials, and I want to find a specific material in here, which is called, oh god, I won't be able to find it now. Sorry, it's wax paint is what I'm looking for. I'm going to click onto that, and it's quite a nice sort of, out of all of these, reasonably subtle texture, which is something that I like when texturing. Lots of options, values for this particular, and all of these substance textures, but I'm really going to focus on just one of them, and that is like tinting it. I've got a series of colors for my elements, and just bring up the note of those over on my other screen. This first one here, I'm going to change to a kind of a brown color, which is B25740, like so, and I'll click OK. You can see that that's changed that color there. The other thing that I will change is I think the color variation. Drop the color variation down a little bit. Oh, no, other way. Yeah, that's looking good. Getting a bit closer. So I think that's quite nice. You could play around with some of those other properties if you like. Let's move on to my next object. I'm going to extrude it, make its depth 30, not 300, 30, and head it to the front, offset it on the Y, minus 30, and again we'll add that same material. It was wax. This time I'm going to change this particular object to a kind of a gold color. So I'll scroll down to the color in here and change that to D4A14D. Go OK. So that looks nice. Now I reckon I'll color these other two pretty quickly as well, and turn them into objects. Shouldn't take a sec. This one's going to be a pink color, and maybe I can just improvise with that. using the wax paint again. We use the brown color again. Okay, so here's our objects. Let's kind of begin to arrange them in space. And I can just kind of use my arrangement tools to push and pull these and create a bit of an order for them. Kind of something like that. It's looking quite good already. Let's add just a background in, a square. I'll use a plane for the background. Set it to front and 30, so it's nice and in line with everything else. And set it to wax paint. Pop it in the background there. So that's looking pretty good. I mean, I think that's, for the most part, that's our assets. I'll just check that we've turned on the ray trace for all of these. Looking good. Although I think that I had finished this off by putting everything into a bit more of an isometric three-dimensional space. So we could just finish off by playing around with that. Kind of don't mind this as it is. It's kind of useful looking composition. But we could go ahead and change our positioning or our rotation. Maybe we'll change it to change everything to off-axis front. And we might have to sort of play around with the positioning of these things to make it look a little more realistic. Yeah, kind of like that. I think that's looking good. So I'll be happy to kind of finish that off at that point. Potentially we could add a little bit of lighting if we, a bit of shadow if we wanted to, below the objects. We'd have to change the rotation of our elements, but we could do that and add another component or level of detail. I think I might finish it there though. Looking pretty good, pretty happy with that.